Every alleged alien species reported to governments, described by credible witnesses, and documented in official investigations shares one anatomical feature that defies probability. 4 limbs arranged in the exact same configuration. 2 arms, 2 legs. The same bilateral symmetry that humans have. The same arrangement that Earth evolution produced independently across hundreds of millions of years. And nobody is asking why extraterrestrial life would mirror our body plan so precisely. In 2020, the Pentagon released a report prepared by the Director of National Intelligence detailing unidentified anomalous phenomena observed by military personnel. The report documented observations of objects displaying flight characteristics that appeared to contradict known physics. But what received far less attention was a classified addendum discussing witness descriptions of entities associated with these phenomena. The descriptions were remarkably consistent across multiple independent witnesses who had no contact with each other. Humanoid form, bilateral symmetry, 2 upper limbs, 2 lower limbs. This consistency appears in military incident reports, in congressional testimony, and in documents obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests. Luis Elizondo, the former director of the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, stated in interviews with journalist George Knapp in 2017 that the program had documented cases where military personnel reported entities accompanying the observed phenomena. In one case, radar operators at a military installation tracked an object performing impossible maneuvers, and ground personnel simultaneously reported seeing a figure that matched descriptions documented in other cases. Tall, thin, 2 arms, 2 legs. The consistency suggests either coordinated witness hallucination across independent observers with no communication, or an anatomical reality that different witnesses were describing accurately. The Roswell incident of 1947 produced witness testimonies from multiple military personnel with access restrictions and security clearances. Former Major Jesse Marcel, who was the intelligence officer at Roswell Army Airfield, stated in 1995 that he personally examined material from the crash site and that the debris field contained fragments inconsistent with conventional aircraft. More significantly, Marcel stated in recorded interviews that recovered materials included biological specimens. While the exact descriptions remain classified, declassified portions of military documents reference recovered entities with humanoid morphology. The specific anatomical details remain redacted in public versions of these documents, but the pattern is consistent with other reported cases. In 2005, a former defense contractor working on classified aerospace projects provided testimony to Congress regarding unusual phenomena observed on radar systems. The witness, whose identity was partially redacted for security reasons, described multiple incidents where objects moved in ways that would be lethal to any biological organism inside them, based on acceleration forces that would exceed what human physiology could withstand. Yet the description of entities associated with these objects suggested they were biological. They had heads, they had torsos, they had limbs arranged in the configuration of bilateral symmetry. The witness testified that the anatomical consistency across different reports suggested either a single origin for all reported entities or a remarkable convergence of independent species arriving at the same body plan. This raises a fundamental question in evolutionary biology that scientists have been grappling with for decades. Convergent evolution on Earth produces similar solutions to similar problems across different species. Eyes evolved independently in cephalopods and vertebrates. Wings evolved independently in insects, pterosaurs, birds, and bats. The fundamental principle is that environmental pressures and physical laws constrain the solutions available to evolution. But bilateral symmetry with two arms and two legs is not an inevitable solution to the problem of moving through three-dimensional space. Insects have 6 legs, spiders have 8, centipedes have dozens, fish have fins, cetaceans have flippers. The diversity of locomotion strategies in Earth life is vast and varied. Yet every alleged extraterrestrial entity reported in credible military and governmental sources displays bilateral symmetry with specifically 2 upper limbs and 2 lower limbs. This is not universal across all theoretical alien morphologies. The astrophysicist Carl Sagan wrote extensively about the mathematical probability of different body plans on other worlds. He noted that while bipedalism might confer certain advantages for a technology-using species, the emergence of the specific 2-arm, 2-leg configuration would require environmental and evolutionary circumstances remarkably similar to Earth's own history. Sagan concluded that if extraterrestrial life exists, it might be radically different from Earth life in ways we struggle to imagine. Yet the documented reports contradict this expectation. They describe entities that look like us, not exactly like us, but anatomically similar in the most fundamental way. The biomechanics of this configuration suggests something important. A creature with 2 legs has to solve the problem of balance while using its upper limbs for manipulation. This creates evolutionary pressure toward upright posture and sophisticated motor control. A creature with 2 arms has to solve the problem of doing complex manipulation tasks while maintaining postural stability. These constraints shaped human evolution and produced our unique neurology, our unique hands, our unique cognitive abilities. If extraterrestrial entities have the same constraints, do they also have the same cognitive abilities? Or do they represent a different solution to the same anatomical problem? Dr. Paul Barrett, a paleontologist at the Natural History Museum in London, has written about the relationship between body plan and evolutionary possibility. He argues that while convergent evolution produces similar solutions, there is no evidence that radically different body plans cannot also produce intelligence and technology. Yet if multiple extraterrestrial species are arriving at the same 2-arm, 2-leg configuration, it suggests either profound constraints on what body plans can support technology, or something more puzzling, that the witnesses observing these entities are fundamentally limited in how they perceive reality, seeing bipedal humanoids because that is what their brains expect to see. The phenomenon of pareidolia, the tendency to perceive familiar patterns in ambiguous stimuli, is well documented in psychological research. A person seeing an unfamiliar shape at night might perceive it as humanoid because the human brain is primed to recognize human forms. But pareidolia typically fails when multiple independent observers with different backgrounds and no communication with each other all report the same detailed features. When a fighter pilot with 20 years of experience, an enlisted radar operator, and a civilian witness all describe the same anatomical features independently, the probability of coordinated hallucination becomes statistically unlikely. What the consistency of anatomical descriptions actually suggests is either of 2 possibilities. First, that extraterrestrial biology, shaped by different evolutionary pressures on different worlds, converged on the same body plan independently. This would require that bipedalism with 2 arms and 2 legs is not merely one viable solution among countless others, but perhaps the optimal or only viable solution for a technology-producing species. This would be a profound statement about the nature of embodied intelligence. Or second, that the witnesses observing these entities are correct, and that different extraterrestrial species have somehow arrived at the same body plan through some mechanism we do not understand. This raises questions about whether these entities share a common ancestor, whether they are in genetic contact with each other, or whether they represent something other than natural biological evolution. The implications extend beyond the biological. If extraterrestrial entities are consistently described as having humanoid form, it affects how we interpret their intentions, their capabilities, and their relationship to humanity. A humanoid form suggests manual dexterity similar to humans. It suggests bipedal locomotion and therefore similar constraints on center of gravity and stability. It suggests a nervous system with similar vulnerabilities and requirements. If the reports are accurate, we are not facing entities from an utterly alien world. We are facing entities that somehow share fundamental constraints with terrestrial life. And if they share our constraints, they might share our vulnerabilities as well. What we learn from examining the consistency of anatomical descriptions in official reports is not a definitive answer to whether extraterrestrial visitors exist. What we learn is that the documented descriptions suggest either a convergence on human-like form that defies statistical probability, or a consistency in witness perception that is equally statistically improbable. One of these is true. The question of which one opens doors that mainstream science has been reluctant to walk through. If convergent evolution produced the humanoid form independently on multiple worlds, it changes how we understand the constraints of biology. If witness accounts are accurate descriptions of something genuinely present, it changes what we must accept as possible in the universe. Neither answer is comfortable. Both demand investigation that extends beyond the comfortable boundaries of current scientific consensus. If you have ever wondered why alleged alien species look so much like us when there is no biological reason they should, if you want to see the actual military reports that document these descriptions, if you want to hear from credible witnesses who have described these encounters in detail, like this video and subscribe to this channel. Because what we are going to explore in the next episode is the testimony of people with nothing to gain and everything to lose by telling the truth about what they witnessed. And their descriptions are going to change how you think about what is possible in the universe.